Up next, we got a non-Nintendo news over here, and from the CyberPunk guys over that made CyberPunk.
Oh boy.
This has been a release nightmare, and this is a good example of why you should never get so hyped up for a game. See, Car's just laughing. He's like, those fools! I warned them.
I warned them, Kakarot.
You didn't listen to the prophecy. But Cyberpunk on the PS4 and Xbox One, which are the, I guess you can say last gen consoles now. Are we using that word already? Last gen consoles?
Yeah, we're using that word already.
Okay, we're using it. Last gen console versions of Cyberpunk have been an absolute nightmare, from looking like a Nintendo 64 game to not being playable at all. At all. And Sony is actually giving out refunds on the PlayStation side for the PS4 version. I heard the game
they didn't want to do.
They didn't want to do. Sony
Initially.
Nobody wants to give out refunds. Nobody wants to do that. Especially for a game that's AAA that probably sold 1 million units. Imagine 1 million refunds? You think, like, just put the math together for that. So
Oh no.
yeah, it's gotta be a nightmare. But the point I always say to people is like, yo, you gotta not get so hyped up and expect big things on release date from some companies. I already know a Ubisoft game for me will not be so well on release day. Bethesda game, not good on release day.
So I believe this is the worst catastrophe release ever. Worse than No Man's Sky. At least No Man's Sky you could run around. In this game, you can't even load in at times.
You just reminded me.
Huh?
You just reminded me about No Man's Sky how bad that was. Yeah, this might have passed it because this game was more higher profile than No Man's Sky.
Well, no, not only that, is the game doesn't work. So for the PS4 fat and the Xbox last gen, I don't remember.
Nobody plays it, so it don't matter. Burn.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. So it doesn't even load at times. It looks like it's Nintendo 64 graphics. Doesn't run. So just keep going down the list, and the Pro doesn't make it that much better. You need a PS5, which
and it's still glitchy on the PS5.
Who's gonna find PS5?
And it's still glitchy even on the PS5. So
it's a little glitchy still for PC and for PS5.
Yeah, you can't win. So this is the type of game that I already knew was gonna have these kind of issues just from looking at the trailers. I was like, this game is not gonna play so smooth when it drops like this.
Yeah.
But
it's their fault because they neglected to mention.
Well, there's a lot of factors, right? Like people, video game companies want to release things around Christmas time. They don't want to miss the Christmas audience. They don't want to wait another year or release it in March where it's not as much sales because grandparents ain't buying their grandkids games in March. They want to make that Christmas deadline, and I bet you that's what was the factor of like, let's drop it now.
Yes.
Guaranteed. And then I don't know. There's so many bad decisions being made here.
And the company also apologizing, but not really, and just saying, well, we'll give you a refund, but good luck. We'll patch it up in January and February. Oh, I'm so excited.
Bro, and there's no recovering your reputation when you do something like this.
No.
Like, the one thing, and I don't want to give Nintendo a blowjob, but at least for the most part, when you buy a Nintendo game, you are getting day one the best possible version of the game that they could release on day one.
Yes.
So at least you don't have to worry about that, at least that in that front. But there's some companies that I already know there's going to be issues with the game day one. So many companies.
Ubisoft is the main one with Assassin's Creed. That's where
Ubisoft is notorious to just be like, oh, we'll just patch it later. We'll just fix it later. They'll buy it anyway. It don't matter. And I'm a big advocate of telling people, like, yo, you have to talk with your money. You have to tell these companies, I'm not going to buy this if it don't work. And I'm not going to buy it on day one because I can't trust you. I can't trust you to deliver a good product. Could you imagine if like you bought furniture and it's like, oh, we'll bring you the legs to the couch later. Like, video game companies are the only ones that get away with this. Like, movies. You imagine movies? Oh, we'll send you DLC of the ending of the movie later. We'll patch it in.
Yeah, it's so true.
Like, that one scene, we didn't have time to finish it, so we're gonna patch it into the Blu-ray later.
Oh, you remember the ending? No, me too.
I'm waiting for the DLC to see the whole
I'm
ending.
waiting.
Only video game companies can get away with this, and it's a nightmare. Like, why are you doing this to me, huh? We're so loyal, and we're so community driven, and we're so about our companies. Like, people that love Microsoft will stand behind anything Microsoft does, but when they make a mistake, they won't call them out for it, or they'll call them out, but they'll forget the next time a hype game gets announced.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We gotta stop. Like, just being so religiously loyal to these companies that screw us over and over again. Like, stop.
Also, you had a little, while you were talking there, you had a little Brooklyn accent. You want to just add the forget about it.
Forget about it. Like, what is this? What are you doing? Huh? What are you, a CyberPunk? Get out of here. Rocky 5? That's a good movie.
So CyberPunk essentially came out at the end of it and was like, well, so sorry guys, you can still refund. They removed it from the PlayStation Store, by the way, so you can no longer buy it for the PS4 Fat. So you're screwed. So it's not available for PS4 as they claimed. It's not available for the last gen Xbox. It's only available for the new generation of consoles and for the PC. So they apologized, said they would do refunds, and did the crappiest thing that you can do as a developer, which is ruin our trust and say you're gonna patch it later.
Yes. Who makes this game again?
CDPR.
CD Projekt Red, bro. You had so much good publicity with Wicker, how you handled free DLC and all that stuff. You just lost all of that. You just lost it. It's just gone. You're gonna have to do super major like damage control for this, and you don't get this back. This never comes back.
We're not gonna give it back freely.
Nah, definitely not.